What are we going to do with this integral? If secant is even, well, we don't have any secants to reserve. If tangent is odd, okay, tangent's odd, reserve off a secant tangent, we don't have any secants. But here's what we'll do. We're going to create some. Reserve off one of the tangents. And there's going to be more here pretty soon. Convert this, right? Tangent is secant squared minus 1 times tangent of x dx. And so now I'm going to break this into, distribute this in. In fact, I'm going to break this into two completely separate integrals. Distribute tangent here, distribute tangent here. And look, you can reserve off secant tangent and let u equal secant, or you could simply reserve off secant squared, let u equal tangent. This falls into the categories we've talked about already. That's a basic form. So, sometimes if there's not all the pieces present, you just use what you have and see what you generate from that procedure. Again, this is a basic form, so I'm going to assume you can handle that. This, you actually have either of the two scenarios we've talked about already. You could reserve off secant squared because it's even. Reserve off secant squared, let u equal tangent, and that's going to go through. Or you could reserve off secant tangent, leaving behind a single secant, let u equal secant, and work that way. If you do that, if you do both those two procedures, in fact, that would be good practice for you. Do both of those. That would be a good thing for you to do before you go through working with the homework. Do both of those. First, reserve off secant squared and convert everything to tangent. The other is reserve off secant tangent, leaving behind secant to the first, let u equal secant. If you do both versions, your answers do not look anything alike, but they are equal. If you really, really want something to do with your weekend, when you get those two entirely different looking answers, see if you can use your trigonometry skills, your vast reservoir of trigonometry skills to show they're equal to each other. But in any event, what we inherit here is something that you should be able to handle because this falls into the two categories we talked about so far.